The time is precisely 1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Danishka Madhavala and read by Chandima Virkon. Headlines. Environmental organizations praise the cabinet paper presented by the President to bring solutions for the issues related to the environment. Sri Lanka, for the sixth consecutive day, set an all-time high for coronavirus cases yesterday. Several more areas have been isolated. The police have arrested 187 people for violating COVID regulations during the last 24 hours. Police informed that any individual residing in a lockdown area requiring urgent medical attention does not require prior approval to travel to obtain treatment. Sri Lanka strongly condemns the terror attack on civilians in Logar province in Afghanistan. Over 18's vaccination drive hit by shortages in India. Local stories in detail. Environmental organizations praise the cabinet paper presented by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to bring solutions for long-standing issues related to the environment of the country. A meeting in this regard was held recently under the patronage of Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage. This cabinet paper contains 20 proposals. One of the main proposals is use of organic fertilizer instead of chemical fertilizer. The use of chemical fertilizer leads to many health and environmental issues in the country. The composition of the soil in many parts of the country is badly affected due to the use of chemical fertilizer. Experts have pointed out that the chronic kidney disease reported in the Rajarata area is one of the main issues related to the use of chemical fertilizer in the country. The government has allocated 1 billion rupees from the budget to provide organic fertilizer for the farmers. Farmers and religious leaders have also expressed their gratitude over the cabinet paper presented by the President in this regard. Director of the Sri Lanka Fertilizer Secretariat, Roshan Jayasuriya, said that the news reports published in the country stating that there is a fertilizer shortage in the country are false. But the importation of chemical fertilizer has been banned at present. The companies who have already shipped the stocks and the companies who have already made their LCs can only import fertilizer. Almost all local government authorities in the country have started production of organic fertilizer. The director said that the Secretariat is observing the production process. Sri Lanka needs 1.4 million metric tons of organic fertilizer annually. The aim of the government is to produce the entire amount needed in the country. Sri Lanka, for the sixth consecutive day, set an all-time high for coronavirus cases yesterday, reporting over 1,700 individuals confirmed positive for COVID-19. According to the Epidemiology Unit of the Health Ministry, 1,716 new COVID-19 cases were reported yesterday. Among the positive cases identified on Saturday are 1,699 associates from the New Year COVID-19 cluster and 17 persons who have arrived from overseas. According to the Epidemiology Unit report at 10:30 p.m., a total of 109,862 COVID-19 cases have been reported and 12,697 infected patients are being treated at hospitals. 9 deaths due to COVID-19 were reported so far on Saturday, raising the total to 687, and 96,478 patients have fully recovered and been discharged from hospitals. General Shavendra Silva, Commander of the Army, Head of the National Operations Centre for Prevention of COVID-19 Outbreak, announced that the Piliyandala Police Area, Walana North, Kiriberia Malamulla East and Wakada North Gramaniladari divisions in Panadura, Oz Hill and Anpualipuram Gramaniladari divisions in Trincomalee and Nildandahinda Gramaniladari division are isolated from 6 a.m. today. Police media spokesman DIG Ajit Rohana said the Sri Lanka police have arrested 187 people for violating COVID regulations during the last 24 hours, ending at 6 a.m. today. They have been arrested for failing to wear face masks and maintain social distancing. The highest number of suspects were arrested from Trincomalee, while 21 people were arrested from Mount Lavnia. The people have arrested 4,672 people since 30th of October 2020 to date. The police media spokesman further stated that during the searches conducted at 12 entry and exit points in the Western Province, 250 persons travelling in vehicles violating the quarantine rules have been warned. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Receive early cash advances and an unmatchable bonus at maturity from Sri Lanka Insurance Early Cash.
Continuing with the local stories, the Sri Lanka Foreign Ministry issuing a statement strongly condemns the terror attack on civilians that took place last Friday in Logar province in Afghanistan. Indiscriminate violence against civilians, particularly students and children, demonstrate the cruelty of the perpetrators who intend to bring anarchy. Sri Lanka stands firmly with the government of Afghanistan in its fight against terrorism to bring durable peace to the country. To end the local news, the headlines again. Environmental organizations praise the cabinet paper presented by the President to bring solutions for the issues related to the environment. Sri Lanka, for the 6th consecutive day, set an all-time high for coronavirus cases yesterday. Several more areas have been isolated. The police have arrested 187 people for violating COVID regulations during the last 24 hours. Police informed that any individual residing in a lockdown area requiring urgent medical attention does not require prior approval to travel to obtain treatments. Sri Lanka strongly condemns the terror attack on civilians in Logar province in Afghanistan. That ends local news.
Finished? You have 1 more hour to write the exam.
Yes, sir. Always early.
Receive early cash advances and an unmatchable bonus at maturity from Sri Lanka Insurance Early Cash.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
On the main news story, police inform that any individual residing in a lockdown area requiring urgent medical attention does not require prior approval from police to travel to obtain treatment. Police media spokesman DIG Ajit Rohana said persons with minor illnesses are not allowed to leave isolated areas. The DIG said the public can contact the nearest police station and obtain prior approval to travel if the need still persists. The DIG added individuals cannot enter or exit premises, excluding security and healthcare officials, claiming that isolation orders were imposed owing to the detection of coronavirus cases. That ends the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
Moving on to Watchlight. The Presidential Secretariat has announced that it is continuously maintaining public services. President's Public Relations Division can be contacted over telephone numbers 0114 354 550 and 0112 354 550 during next 2 weeks. The Ombudsman Office can be contacted over the telephone number 0112 338 073. The President's Fund can be contacted by calling over the telephone number 0112 354 354. That ends Watch Light. Headlines of the World News. Over 18's vaccination drive hit by shortages in India. Turkey arrests hundreds as May Day rallies sweep globe. Fashion designer Alba Elbaz dies in Paris aged 59. India has become the first country to report more than 400,000 new coronavirus cases in a single day as its nationwide vaccine drive launches amid a supply crisis. Some 3,523 deaths were officially recorded in the past 24 hours, but the real figure is thought to be far higher as many fatalities go unreported. All adults in India are now eligible to be vaccinated, but several states say they do not have the doses to carry out the exercise. Turkish police have arrested more than 200 people for holding unauthorized protests on May Day, which has seen rallies across the world despite the continued spread of COVID-19. The protesters in Turkey's largest city, Istanbul, were caught breaching restrictions imposed to curb a third wave of coronavirus. Marches led by workers and unions are held on 1st May every year as part of International Labour Day celebrations in many countries. This year, the rallies took place once again against the backdrop of a pandemic that has destroyed livelihoods and upended economies worldwide. Designer Alba Elbaz, who worked at some of France's best-known fashion houses, has died in Paris, aged 59. From 2001, Elbaz was artistic director at Lanvin, where he was credited with rejuvenating the brand until he was sacked in 2015. He had recently launched his own label, AZ Factory. His business partner, Johan Rupert, said Elbaz had died from COVID. Mr. Rupert praised Elbaz's inclusive vision of fashion. He said Elbaz had worked to realize his dreams of smart fashion that cares. To end the world news, the headlines again. Over 18's vaccination drive hit by shortages in India. Turkey arrests hundreds as May Day rallies sweep globe. Fashion designer Alba Elbaz dies in Paris aged 59. That ends the world news. On to development news. The Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment has authorized licensed foreign employment agencies to recruit workers for technical services in Japan. The maximum fee that can be charged from a qualified employee recruited for the relevant professions is only 350,000 rupees. SLBC has notified that it is illegal to charge more than the maximum fee that can be charged by an employer, and that legal action will be taken against employment agents who charge higher fees, and their licenses will be revoked. Furthermore, the list of licensed foreign employment agencies authorized to recruit workers for employment in Japan can be obtained from the SLBC official website www.slbfe.lk. In addition, the public can report employment agencies that charge more than the authorized fee to Special Investigation Division of the SLBC on 011 286 4118 or 286 4241. That ends development news. On to sports news. Today is the fourth day of the second test between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh at Pallekele International Stadium in Kandy. Sri Lanka declared their first innings when they were 493 for 7 wickets. Bangladesh were all out for 251 runs. Batting for the second innings, Sri Lanka scored 172 runs for the loss of 6 wickets at lunch today. That ends sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Business news.
Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
On to business news. Apple has been charged with breaking EU competition rules over the way it runs its App Store. European Commission antitrust regulator Margaret Vestager tweeted that consumers are losing out. It relates to charges brought 2 years ago by music streaming app Spotify, which claimed that Apple was stifling innovation in that industry. Apple faces a large fine and may be forced to change its policies if its arguments do not convince regulators. Previously, it has denied any wrongdoing. That ends business news.
Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news. Courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Moving on to economic news. Sri Lanka's ambassador to the Republic of Uzbekistan, Professor M.D. Lamavansa, recently headed a delegation for discussions with the government of Uzbekistan. Ambassador Professor Lamavansa held a fruitful discussion with the Deputy Foreign Minister of the Republic of Uzbekistan, Sidko Fakat. During a conversation, topical issues of the development of Sri Lanka, Uzbekistan relations of friendship, both in bilateral and international arena, as well as potential areas for strengthening interaction between the two countries were considered. The ambassador paid a call on the Deputy Minister of Investment and Foreign Trade, Kudratov. Both sides emphasized the unutilized potential to enhance collaboration in various spheres, including trade, agriculture, technology, and investment. That ends economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And finally, on the weather report, showers or thundershowers will occur in most parts of the island during the evening or at night. Heavy rainfalls above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in Sabragamua, central, western and northwestern provinces and in Polonnaruwa, Galle and Madura districts. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. That ends the weather report.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And to end this bulletin of news, the headlines again. Environmental organizations praise the cabinet paper presented by the President to bring solutions for the issues related to the environment. Sri Lanka, for the 6th consecutive day, set an all-time high for coronavirus cases yesterday. Several more areas have been isolated. The police have arrested 187 people for violating COVID regulations during the last 24 hours. Police informed that any individual residing in a lockdown area requiring urgent medical attention does not require prior approval to travel to obtain treatment. Sri Lanka strongly condemns the terror attack on civilians in Logar province in Afghanistan. Over 18's vaccination drive hit by shortages in India. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.